Democrats are feeling the heat after calling on a former Watergate whistleblower, John Dean, CNN contributor, to testify about the Mueller report.
Just a few years ago, it was brought up, and one of our candidates talked about Russia being a threat, and the former president, Mr. Obama, said, that the 80s are asking for their foreign policy back. Well, guess what? This committee is now hearing from the 70s, and they want their star witness back.
That GOP congressman and ranking House Judiciary member, Doug Collins, joins us now. So we got a chance to see John Dean yesterday. What was accomplished?
Not a thing. It's about like watching late-night reruns on the cable channels where you see all the shows, you know what they're going to say, you laugh at the jokes before they ever get there. The problem we just ended up yesterday seeing someone who's tried to recreate his career for 45 years by saying, I was part of a corrupt organization, I testified, and now I'm going to say everything is worse than what I did. That's how he's made a living for 45 years.
And it's somebody that said right off, I am not a fact witness. So what are you doing in this hearing if you don't know the facts?
That's a great question for my chairman and the rest of the Democrats. Why are you bringing in someone except for star value? Let's be very honest. What they wanted there was they wanted the word Nixon and impeachment because they were trying to tie that word to the president. They cannot find any other way to tie this president to anything else except through innuendo and off-candid remarks. So they want the impeachment there so that they let their base think that they're actually doing something, when in reality, they're just simply rehashing old times. And then they brought in 2 U.S. attorneys who have made it a living basically to get on MSNBC and CNN and other networks basically saying that Trump is bad and that if we'd have been there, we would have done this. Well, they wasn't there. They wasn't part of the Mueller investigation. And they're simply 2 basically law professors giving their opinion.
Congressman Collins, now we see the underlying documents have been handed over, are going to be handed over to a degree, to the Judiciary Committee. Are you concerned they're going to be taking the sensational elements and trying this case in a different way, saying, we are better prosecutors than the Mueller people were? Are you concerned that one of the 19 attorneys might be working covertly with the Democrats on this?
I think they've been trying to get out the pieces for a long time. I think the Democrats on the committee are desperate to find an answer. Their base, they promised their base impeachment. They promised their base that the Mueller report would take this president down. They couldn't run against the president who has the best economy, who's actually worked on trade deals, who's actually raised our standing in the world, who's done the things that he promised that he would do. They can't run on that. So they're trying to help the ones running for president by trying to tear him down. What we're finding out here is that they're going to take little bits and pieces and they're going to say, well, what about this? But my question to our committee is, the Mueller report had unlimited resources, many investigators, grand jury, subpoena options, everything that we don't have. How is our committee, who can't even seem to get through a hearing yesterday without it looking like a total joke, how are they going to actually investigate better than a Mueller who was fully funded and was after a specific reason? We're not going to be able to do that. They're just trying to tar this president.
We saw the scope memo. It was a letter written to Jerry Nadler saying the Attorney General will be looking into what started this investigation. We know that John Durham is in place, has been at this for a while. Horowitz is about to release his report. Do you believe this is an effort to have this narrative overwhelm or at least equal the sound on this side?
If I was in a position that the Democrats were in with the promises that they were made as they were going out there saying there's collusion in plain sight, there's all this and that about this administration, I would be doing everything I could to desperately rehabilitate my story, because when the origins of this comes out, as I said yesterday, the corrupt cabal of Strzok, Page, Comey, McCabe, and all these, John Dean is the godfather of using governmental resources to spy on campaigns. And what we're finding out now is this was nothing more than a coordinated effort by the Obama administration Department of Justice to actually go after a candidate they didn't like. So the Democrats know that this stuff's coming out pretty soon. This stuff's not going to be along around the corner, and then they're going to have to do some explaining to the American people why they've tried to take down this president while at the same time realizing and not wanting to look at what actually was there. But one more thing, Brian.
Yep.
What Mueller did say was that we had foreign interference in our elections, Russian interference in our elections. They actually didn't prosecute. But has my chairman scheduled any hearings on trying to fix that? Have they tried to actually schedule a hearing on trying to find out exactly what Mueller did find in the affirmative? No, because all they want to do is go after the president to satisfy a rabid base.
He is Congressman Doug Collins, and he had a flashback Monday where he had a look back at the 1970s. Coming up next, All in the Family. All right, thanks, Doug Collins. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
All right.